Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Cayde here bringing you another Minecraft World War II aircraft tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be going ahead and building the Messerschmitt Bf-109 G6 in the landing configuration. The Messerschmitt Bf-109 is a German World War II fighter aircraft that was, along with the Focke-Wulf FW-190, the backbone of the Luftwaffe's fighter force. The Bf-109 saw operational service in 1937 during the Spanish Civil War and was still in service at the dawn of the jet age at the end of World War II in 1945. It was one of the most advanced fighters when it first appeared, with an all-metal monocule construction, a closed canopy, and a retractable landing gear. It was powered by a liquid-cooled, inverted V12 Aero engine. It was called the ME-109 by Allied aircrew and some German aces, even though that was not the official German designation. It was designed by Willy Messerschmitt and Robert Lusser, who worked at the Basic Flugzeugwerk during the early to mid-1930s. It was conceived as an interceptor, although late models were developed to fulfill multiple tasks, serving as a bomber escort, fighter bomber, day and night, all-weather fighter, ground attack aircraft, and reconnaissance aircraft. It was supplied to several states during World War II and served with several countries for many years after the war. The Bf-109 is the most produced fighter aircraft in history, with a total of 33,984 airframes produced from 1936 to April 1945. Some of the Bf-109 production took place in Nazi concentration camps through slave labor. The Bf-109 here, very iconic aircraft and a very, well-known one, probably the most well-known, one of the most well-known fighters from World War II. The version we have here in front of us is the landed version. We did do a tutorial for the in-flight version, so if you are interested in that, there is a tutorial available for the in-flight version, but this one here is solely for the landed version for those of you that want to put this on your air bases or anything like that. And this design is also being featured in my Let's Build series I'm currently working on, which basically is a German Luftwaffe air base. So definitely feel free to check that out also if you're interested in some ideas on building a World War II style air base. But without further ado, let's go ahead and kind of move in here to take a look here at the landed version of the Bf-109. So going ahead and covering it, we obviously have it in its color scheme. It's a little derpy, obviously, when it comes to Minecraft trying to angle anything with the angles that we kind of need to do. It's not going to work out the best most of the time, and that's obviously the case here. I mean, it looks pretty good for angling and what we tried to do for it, and you can still tell it's a Bf-109, and that's kind of the main goal with it. So overall, the angle on it's pretty good, pretty accurate, and as with most World War II fighters, they like to sit at an angle here. So we have the angle with the camouflage, trying to replicate that as best we can. It's overall pretty cool design, I think. Works pretty good. I think the flow and shape of it is overall pretty nice, and I think it really stays true to the Bf-109. Obviously, it's not perfect, but it's basically the best you're really going to be able to get with the way it's designed and all that stuff. But I think it'll be a fun build. I know a lot of you guys have been asking to see a tutorial for this, and hopefully once we get some more landed aircraft set up for the Luftwaffe, that we'll have basically more of these fighters coming in the in-flight configuration. Anyways though, let's go ahead and move into our tutorial by beginning with our first layer. Alright guys, so before we go ahead and jump into our first layer, layer 1, I do want to mention a few things regarding the tutorial. First is, if you're completely new to my aircraft tutorials, the way I like to structure these tutorials, I like to do half on, half off. What this means is we're going to be building the entire center line of the aircraft, and then basically building the entire right side. It'll be up to you guys in between layers to copy the right side over to the left side. This aircraft is symmetrical on both sides, so whatever you see on one side will be done on the other. So just want to throw that out there for you guys. Also, in addition, if you're interested in the camo, I will be showing you guys a little bit of the camo scheme on the fighter that I have modeled in the beginning of the video. But I will not be doing the camo scheme kind of in the tutorial. I'll be doing it just in a straight stone color scheme, and then it'll be up to you guys to either replicate the camo I did or make your own for it. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump into it. So going ahead and getting started with, we're going to go ahead and basically set up our center line. So our center line is going to be right here for the build. Now you can kind of pick and choose wherever you want to start this, but basically our front landing gear, to kind of give you perspective, is near the front of the aircraft, obviously. So those front wheels here are going to be around that location there, so that's where we're going to go ahead and start from. What we want to do is we want to have a space of 3 between our blocks of coal. So again, we have a space of 3 and we have our blocks of coal to both sides. We're going to place down a lever coming off the block of coal to the side we want facing toward the rear. So we're going to have it facing that way. The rear is going to be that way, the front's going to be that way. And we're also going to take a skeleton skull and place it down the side here of this lever, like so. With that done, you can also go ahead and make this banner design. Now you can see here I already have this banner made. It's pretty simple. Depending on what kind of camouflage you're going for my design over here, I went with some gray colors for the wheels there for the rims of the landing gear. You could do light gray, you could do white. Basically, it just matters what you change the background banner to. But basically, to make this, whatever color background banner you want, use gray. You're just going to place down a black border and then the black horizontal line that goes through the center like so. And that's all you need to do for these banners. And these banners are just going to go ahead and go on both sides of these blocks of coal to kind of give the wheels there landing gear a little bit more character. But that really is it for your main landing gear. We then want to go ahead and go back from the center point between these wheels. So the center point here, we're going to count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 back from the center point. So again, from this point right here, we have 10 blocks back, and then we're going to place down a wither skeleton skull on the ground, like so, for that back wheel. After that's complete, we can go then delete this markers down the center. Just make sure both sides are transferred over, and this is what it should look like for the top-down view with layer 1 complete. Anyways, that is it for layer 1. Let's move on to layer number 2. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we're moving into layer 2. For layer 2 to go ahead and get started with here, we want to go ahead and begin by placing down a stone brick wall on top of this skeleton skull. Going back, or going between, or basically in the middle space here, we're going to place down a stone top slab. Going back from that top slab, 2 stone full blocks, 2 stone top slabs, 3 stone full blocks, a yellow concrete block, 2 stone full blocks, a andesite wall, and then a skeleton skull coming off the andesite wall in the back there. On the bottom of this second to last stone block, so after the yellow concrete, we're going to go ahead and go to the bottom here of this block, place down a lever that's going to be facing backwards toward that wither skeleton skull like that. With that done, going back up to the front here, we're going to go ahead and start working our way out to the sides. We're going to take our stone top slabs, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, going back from that stone brick wall. We're going to skip a space in this row 3 of stone full blocks, we're going to place down a row 3 of light gray stained glass panes. Then continue to the side here, we're going to place down 1 and 2 stone top slabs to the side there, followed by a row of 1 and 2 polished andesite top slabs. We then want to go and grab ourselves some item frames and some black beds. We're going to place down item frames on the sides of these top slabs and black beds in these item frames, which will be rotated so that the pillars are facing toward the outsides, the black facing toward the center. And if you're on Java, a feature we can go ahead and do is place down dark oak with signs on the side there of those slabs. Now, I want to mention this very clearly. If you are on Java, you can do the signs and item frames. If you are not on Java, you will not be able to place down the item frames and signs in the same block space. If that's the case, just go ahead and place down the item frames and disregard the signs. It's pretty straightforward. Pocket Edition Bedrock, just place the item frames. Java, you can place down the item frames and the signs there for that extra bit of detail. But anyways, with that all done, you're going to take what we did on the right side here, flip it over to the left side, and this is what you should have for the top-down view for the aircraft so far. Anyways, that is it for layer number 2, and with that, let's move on to layer number 3. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we have layer 3. For layer 3 to begin with, we want to go and start off by going ahead and going to this stone top slab from the previous layer that's between the stone brick walls. We're going to place down a stone block on top of it. We're going to go and then go forward from it, from a yellow concrete block, and then a birchwood top slab like so. Going back from this stone block here, we're going to place down a row of stone that's going to go ahead and go back a total of 7 blocks, followed by a birch stair like so, a stone slab, 2 stone full blocks, and then an andesite wall there on the very ends. Once we have that done, we're going to go and start working our way out to the sides here. We're going to place down a skeleton skull on the side of this top slab, followed by a stone stair, and then 2 stone full blocks back. We're going to go then place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 andesite walls, and then a light gray stained glass pane right there after those walls. We then want to place down a row of 1, 2, and 3 daylight detectors coming off this first stone block here. Turn all those daylight detectors there to night mode. Actually, sorry, it's going to be a row of 4, my bad. And then we're going to take our iron trapdoors, 1, 2, 3 iron trapdoors, and then a skeleton skull, or wither skeleton skull that's going to be on top of this block space. So we're just going to place down a block underneath it, and then on top of that, we're going to place down a skeleton skull like that to go ahead and form up the back there for the tail. Now, when it comes to the wings themselves, we're going to go and place down a row of 1 and 2 stone slabs like this going back, followed by a daylight detector, which will be turned to night mode. We're going to do the same thing again, 2 stone slabs, daylight detector, again turned to night mode. We then want to place down 2 rows of 3 of stone slabs, so 1 and 2. And we're going to go then switch to our stone top slabs. We're going to go and place down 2 stone top slabs, and then after that, we're going to go and place down a stone half slab. We then want to place down there 2 stone top slabs, followed by a polished andesite top slab, and our 2 stone top slabs, polished andesite top slab, and our 2 stone top slabs, and our polished andesite top slab. So the same row 3 times. Then at this point, we're going to place down 1 stone top slab coming off the middle one, or the middle slab there, and then a skeleton skull there in the front corner, like so. And once we have that done, that is going to basically complete what we have there for layer number 3 for the build. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving on to layer number 4. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we moved into layer number 4. For layer 4 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to go ahead and start off by placing down a stone block on top of this top slab here. We're going to then go forward from the block with a yellow concrete block and then a birchwood top slab. Then from the stone block here, we're going to go 2 more stone blocks back, so you have a row 3 of stone there. We're going to go then place down a row 3 of black stained glass full blocks, a stone full block, a stone stair, a stone slab, and then going back to our tail here, we're going to place down a light gray stained glass pane on top of this stone block. A stone block back from that glass pane, and another glass pane right there. So you have basically your tail shaping up like so. Going to the sides here, we're going to place down a sandstone wall next to this yellow concrete block, an andesite wall. And after that, we're going to go then place down a stone upside down stair, which will be on both sides like so. We're going to go then place down 2 more andesite walls back, followed by a stone slab, a black stained glass pane, and then 2 light gray stained glass panes going back. We then can take a skeleton skull, and we're going to place down a skeleton skull on top of this wall right here, at a slight angle like that to both sides. Once we have that all complete, one thing to also mention is over here on the left side, and the left side only, we're going to have a skeleton skull that's going to come off the side here of this wall, and then coming off that skeleton skull, we're going to place down 1 skeleton skull coming off it like that toward the front there. And that's going to be on the left side and the left side only of the aircraft. Also, this point right here, you can also place down the aircraft number. So if you want to put a number on the side of the aircraft, you're also able to do that. As you can see, I went ahead and just moved 18. Doesn't really matter, but your number's probably going to have to be a 2-digit number. You can see that we have the gray banners here, just mainly because on the aircraft model we have over there, basically we have gray in that section. But basically I would recommend doing whatever color scheme you're doing and then come back and add the numbers. But basically the numbers should be placed there. I went ahead and put them in yellow to kind of complement the little accents of yellow we have on the nose and the tail here. But you can go ahead and do white. You can do whatever writing you guys want there. But yeah, there's plenty of tutorials out there to show you guys how to do number banners, but I just want to mention where they're located here on these 2 light gray stained glass panes. Anyways, that right there is going to conclude what we have for layer number 4 for the build, and with that, let's move on to layer number 5. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we moved into layer number 5. For layer 5 to get started with here, we're going to place down a stone block on top of this birchwood top slab here. Then coming off it, we're going to place down a yellow concrete block with a polished black stone button there on the very tip. Going ahead and go back from the stone block, we're going to place down 1 more stone block, a stone stair like so, and 2 stone slabs. We're going to then place down 2 black stained glass blocks, and then another brick stair after those 2 black stained glass blocks. Then on the end here, on the tail, we're going to place down a stone slab like so, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 barrier blocks going forward. We're going to place down 2 stone buttons on the side of these 2 barrier blocks here, and then 1, 2, 3 stone buttons on the top here of these 3 barrier blocks, like that, going forward. So that right there will basically be the cable in there, and that's going to do it there for that back section. Moving back up to the front, we're going to place down a light gray stained glass pane coming off this stone block here, an andesite wall behind it, a skeleton skull coming off this stone stair here, and we then want to go ahead and place down a skeleton skull like this, and I believe the skeleton skull is actually like that, and then we're going to place down another skeleton skull like this to the side there, like that. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 black stained glass panes, as well as a wither skeleton skull on top of this black stained glass pane at a slight angle, like so, going back. And once we have that all done, that's going to basically do it there for our main structure for this layer. At this point, we want to go ahead and grab ourselves some wither skeleton skulls and some polished black stone walls. We're going to place down a row of 1, 2, 3 wither skeleton walls here to the side. We're going to go and go down from this yellow concrete block. We're going to place down a polished black stone wall, and then we want to go and go down, over, and forward 1 wall like so. And then this section here, we're going to go up at an angle from this yellow concrete block, and then we're going to go up and back 1 like so to kind of create a little bit of our angled propeller like so. Again, not perfect, but it's kind of the best we can do with what we really have to work with here. So that right there will kind of be the shape there for our propeller. But anyways, that right there will conclude what we have there for layer number 5, and with that we're going to move into our final layer, layer number 6. Alright guys, so moving into layer 6, layer 6 is a super simple layer. All we're going to do here is we're going to place down a iron trapdoor on top of this first stone block here. Then we're going to go ahead and go up from this from this nether brick stair, a barrier block, and then 1 back like so at an angle, and then a second barrier block back from that one like so. So it should look like this here. We're going to place down 2 stone buttons on the right side here of those barrier blocks like that, and then a lever coming off this the side of the barrier block toward the front, and then we're going to flick the lever so it goes down like that and connects up to that nether brick stair. And that is all we have to do for this layer. Again, as I mentioned, really simple. But that right there is going to conclude layer 6. And with that, this is going to kind of conclude our base design here for the Bf-109 G6 in the landing configuration. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and kind of go a little bit into the camo, kind of talk about it a little bit further and explain it. But that right there is kind of your base model. And if you want to modify it with your own camos, then this is pretty much where you'll go ahead and pick up on. But anyways, that's it for the in-flight version. Structure-wise, let's go ahead and talk about the camouflage a little bit. So when it comes to the camouflage, I'm not going to go ahead and go in super great detail and build it block by block. Because I highly encourage when you're building a couple of these Bf-109s to kind of build the camouflage a little different from each other just to make them a little spicy. Obviously, you can alternate between a couple different designs, but I do recommend kind of, making sure everything's a little different because, if you had a bunch of these Bf-109s just in the same, just color scheme like this right here, it gets kind of boring. So doing the camouflage here is kind of the typical G6 camouflage you can find a lot of on Google Images. But basically we have the lighter gray kind of tone on the bottom. Then we have like this cobblestone representing kind of like this mixed pattern that's kind of a spotted darker gray, lighter gray type pattern. And then on the very top it's like a darker gray color. And that's kind of what we went with. So just kind of showing you guys some different angles here of it so that if you want, you can pause the video and kind of copy whatever you guys want if you're trying to replicate my camo exactly or do what you guys want. But you get to see we're just using some cobblestone mixed in there, cobblestone walls. Obviously for our darker gray colors we have the gray stained glass panes, gray concrete, polished black stone walls, polished black stone stairs, slabs, and all that. And dark oak with trapdoors for those darker areas, but it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple, and hopefully these few little different angles, wrapped around pictures, you guys can go ahead and kind of modify into your own version, or just kind of refer to photos and use photos as a reference to kind of proportionally build it. And again, here's a top-down view. As you can see, the camouflage version definitely spicens up a little bit compared to the just all stone version. So highly encourage doing some kind of paint job on yours. But that right there will conclude the tutorial here for the Bf-109 in the landing configuration. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this build. If you do end up using this design, I do ask you guys give me proper credit for it. This will be a link from a side of the build link to my channel or this video if this does appear on your social media sites. As long as you guys give me proper credit for it, you're free user for a project you guys are working on. Overall, enjoy the build, have fun for all that fun stuff. With that though, thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Garrett 204, and I'll see you guys next time.